And now, introducing Casey Carter.
Hey, it's Wednesday, and I'm Casey, and this is Casey at Night. Ah, man, let me tell you, it's been a week. It, I, oof, I had to come home from work and take a nap. It's been so much, just so much. So, I'm glad you're here with me now. Um, First of all, let me say thank you for being here with me. I love having you all here. And if you missed my show last week, we talked about North Carolina, the state of North Carolina, and the fact that no finally means no. So, progress, yes, yes. Except today, I will be talking about the fact that there are several laws on the books that are quite discriminatory where women are concerned. And so, yeah, I chose seven of the many laws out there. And we're going to talk about those today. As you know, today's topic is seven sexist laws, and you see me scrambling to get through my notes. Seven sexist laws, and still on the books in the U.S. But first, let me just have a proud mama moment, okay? Um, so I have two kids. I don't talk a lot about my private, personal life, but I have two kids, 20 and 22, and both of my children just in the last month have accomplished things that have been basically lifelong dreams of theirs. My daughter just finished a 52-week nursing program with the Army at Walter Reed, and hey, Lorenzo, and has a job here in Atlanta at CHOA, I believe is how it's pronounced, Children's Hospital of Atlanta, and just bought her first car all by herself. This is technically her second car, but she just bought herself a 2020 vehicle all on her own, all in her name, insurance, finance, all of that. And I'm super proud of her. And my son has fulfilled a lifelong dream of his, and he just started his job. I'm not going to tell you what he does because, I got to protect my kid. But just proud mama moment. I was talking to Vaughn Nielsen earlier today, Chef Vaughn Nielsen, from the Intimacy of Food. And I was, sharing with him why I've been so super busy and what's been going on. And he's like, Casey, you got to tell people, you got to brag, you got to have that proud mama moment. So I'm having that proud mama moment with y'all. I don't know about you, but whew, I'm grateful that both my children have survived into their 20s. Thank you, Lorenzo, that they have survived into their 20s because listen, you see what's going on in the world right now. We can't turn on the TV without seeing one of us hurt. So I'm just saying, very super proud of my kids. And, I've even said that, I used to wonder how dare a parent try to take credit for all the work that the kid did when the kid graduates from college or signs a big sports deal or whatever. How are you going to take credit for that? You ain't do nothing. Well, guess what? Now I look at it as we graduated from the Army nursing program, and we graduated from the program that my son was in. Why? Because let me tell you something. If I wasn't all up in that ass, sacrificing my time, driving folks hither and yon, we might not be where we're at right now. So, to all of you parents who go to practice, game, travel team, tournament, to uniform this, and private teach that, coach that, whatever, blah blah blah. When your kid make it, you better show enough pop your collar, because they couldn't have done it without you. So that's my speech for the minute. But on to the first segment.
What the fuck?
I love that. Okay, so again, I was super busy this week, and I had intended on having a few other segments, and I just ran out of time, people. I ran out of time. I had to help the girl, get her car and just sort of love on her now that she's home and has been gone for over a year. But I did have a what the fuck moment for you. And here's the thing. I live in Georgia. I live in the South. I live in the Bible Belt. And the South has a very interesting relationship to sex. Last week, as I told you, no did not mean no in North Carolina until October 31st of 2019. Now, granted, it was a 40-year-old law that said that if you had given consent and then revoked consent, you couldn't claim rape if the person you were with decided to push on through. Couldn't claim rape, right? Craziness. Well, guess what, y'all? There's so many more like that. So this week's What the Fuck is about the state of Alabama. And the state of Alabama has an anti-obscenity Enforcement Act of 1998. So when we say that again, in Alabama, there is something called the Anti-Obscenity Enforcement Act of 1998. It, in a very simple statement, criminalizes the sale of sex toys. Criminalizes the sale of sex toys in the state of Alabama. It says Alabama's anti-obscenity law enacted in 1998 bans the distribution of any device designed or marketed as useful primarily for the stimulation of human genital organs for anything of pecuniary value. Pecuniary value. I had to look that word up. I'm like, what? So what that means is relating to or consisting of money. So you can't buy sex toys in Alabama. Now, for those of you who sell sex toys, are y'all selling sex toys in Alabama? Like, how do you get around that? How do you, if I'm Adam and Eve, if I'm anybody, like, is that to say in the state of Alabama there's no sex toy store? Like, help me to understand what that actually means, because I'm a little, is that, so in Alabama y'all don't, I get it, here it is. You need me in Alabama because since selling sex toys is illegal, I'm gonna have to show you how to use your wooden spoon, get your pervertibles going, because selling sex toys is illegal. The fuck, people? What kind of craziness is that? I mean, here's the thing. I don't live in Alabama. I know people who live in Alabama, and I'm curious. Where do you get your sex toys? All you kinky Alabama people, hit a sister up. Let me know, where do you get your sex toys in Alabama? Can you order them if you live in Alabama? Because again, if it says it is a criminal act to sell sex toys in Alabama, if I buy it from some company that's out of New Jersey or whatever state, does that still make it illegal? I don't know. Yeah, and then Lorenzo's other point, can they be shipped to Alabama? I don't know. And I would really like to know. I think that's huge, right? Like, so for those of you who live in Alabama, let a sister know, where do you get your sex toys? And did you know it was illegal to sell sex toys? Now, I was going to save this for another day, but since we're talking about the fact that it's illegal to sell sex toys in Alabama, I'm going to give you another what the fuck. So, in the state of Texas, possession of a sex toy is regulated. So, in other words, the law says that, and the law was written in 1973. So let's just the Wayback Machine on that. Texas bans the possession of or promoting the use of more than 6 dildos. So in other words, you can have 5, but you can't have 6 dildos. First of all, how the hell you gonna know how many dildos I got in my house? Okay? How you gonna know? And I'm gonna tell you what, if I lived in Texas, I'd be out of order right now. But still, the ridiculousness of it. Why would you need to limit the number of dildos I have? I mean, first of all, if you're going to limit the number of dildos, can we just say the fact that, what am I going to do with 6 at one time anyway? Like, what am I going to do with 5 at one time if I'm by myself? I mean, I got those 2 down there. Unless, of course, I'm talented and I just shove all the extras in the hole best I can, since these toys come in varying sizes. But still, the absurdity of trying to regulate the number of toys that I have, on top of the fact that if I live in Alabama, I can't buy none in the state, no way. Bible Belt, y'all. Bible Belt is all I'm saying. Bible Belt. And if you notice, all the crazy stuff in the news tends to happen along that Bible Belt line. You want to know why? It's because you're regulating my sex toys. Stop fucking with my sex toys and maybe we won't be so freaking crazy. That's all I'm saying. It's just something to think about. Just something to think about. Think about that, matter of fact, for the next, 20 seconds. And I'm back. All right. So we got Jason in the house. Hey, Jason. Thanks for being here. And let me see. What is Lorenzo saying here? The mere possession. Yeah, man. The possession. You have to keep some in your car. So wait, are you suggesting that I can have some in my house and some in my car? Like, I can max out on the 5 in my car and then max out on the 5 in my house? Is that what we're saying here? I mean, because again, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around the fact that it's even been counted. So, like, as a matter of fact, let me tell you, it says, where is it at? It says it does make exceptions for people who have the multiples of the device for medical and law enforcement purposes. Let me ask you a question. Who in law enforcement needs to have more than 6 dildos? Tell me, are you putting these on your holster? Because listen, I got a holster. I got a belt, and I put them in my belt. I got pictures where I got some dildos, some thrusters. I'm packing, right? But I want to know, if you are in law enforcement, have a badge and carry a gun and all of that, what do you need with 6 dildos? Okay, all right. I'm just saying the absurdity, the absurdity of the obscenity law. Okay, all right. Maybe none of y'all find it as crazy as I do, but why does law enforcement need 6 dildos? Why does law enforcement need 1? Maybe for confiscated by law. Listen, if you are confiscating my dildos, what are you doing in my house, first of all, right? Like, what are you doing there? How are you in my house? Are you checking for weed and go, oh, she's got 6 dildos. Take her to jail. I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, that's not what we're here for tonight. Tonight, we are here to talk about 7 sexist laws still on the books in the United States. And I actually had to edit this because one of the laws was referring to North Carolina. And as I said at the top of the show, we've already explained that. We got that one all together. They can be in possession over 6 as evidence. It, I, okay, so Lorenzo, you are absolutely right about that, but I still don't understand. I still don't understand. I don't understand. I don't why law enforcement needs to have 6 dildos. This just to me just even seems stupid to talk about it. But that's beside the point. That's beside the point. So again, 7 sexist laws on the books in the United States. First of all, I just picked 7, but there are many laws that are old as dirt, but still exist. And bottom line, they are designed to control women. I will say this over and over and over again. There are laws that exist to control women, period. I want you to know the Equal Rights Amendment, we still aren't there. We still are not getting equal pay. We still are being regulated on so many levels. So let me start with the first of the 7 ridiculous laws. And the first one is rapists have parental rights in several states. Let me say this again. Rapists have parental rights in several states. So a woman is raped, and in states like Alabama, Minnesota, North Dakota, and let me see, rights terminated for rapists, but you must, and Wyoming, but Wyoming has a stipulation. But so let's just go with Alabama, Minnesota, and North Dakota. Rapists have parental rights. So in other words, you can't just, have an abortion or refuse to let the person who raped you have access to this child. I can't even wrap my mind around that. I mean, that is total re-victimization, if ever. Okay. And I just don't get it. I don't get how someone even thought that that was a good idea. And let me let me tell you how even more insane. There's a Republican representative by the name of Jared Olson who said, and I forget where he's from, but he said, "You're not a rapist unless you're a convicted rapist." In other words, as long as you don't get caught, you have parental rights as a rapist. Huh? What? You mean? And I think that's for Wyoming. Yes, that's for Wyoming because Wyoming says rights terminated for rapists, but you must be formally convicted of sexual assault. And this representative says if you don't get caught, it don't count. I don't. Tell me, how does it make sense that a person who has been impregnated against their will And for whatever decision they make, whether they terminate or whether they carry to full term, is in some cases forced to have to interact with the person who did this to them. Fucking insane. Insane. Sexist and insane. Okay. Number 2. In the city, or rather the California village of Carmel by the Sea, they have this very special law. So my number 2 sexist law is a woman needs a permit to wear high heels in California. More specifically, in Carmel by the Sea, you cannot have a heel more than 2 inches high. The fuck? You can't be in the street in high heels more than 2 inches. And the crazy thing is, you got to go get a license. You got to get a permit, right? Like, they claim they don't actually enforce the law. But if you went down to City Hall in Carmel by the Sea and requested your permit to wear your high heels, you could get it. If ever there was dumb. If ever there was dumb. This is it right here. This is, yes, exactly, Lorenzo. Lord knows I can't go to Carmel by the Sea. Because I'm going to get arrested. And let me give you the rationale for why they say this law even exists. They didn't want to have to deal with the lawsuits from the people who come to visit the town and trip or fall on the irregular streets. I don't know how irregular these streets are, but if you've ever been to Manhattan, New York City, it don't get more irregular than New York City. I mean, depending upon where you are, there are cobblestones. There are, dips in the sidewalk. There are grooves in the sidewalk. There are grates in the sidewalk that the train, when the train comes by, you can hear the train underneath. You have like cellar doors. I'm not even sure what they call them, when they're out in front of the stores in Manhattan. But, in New York City, they have these metal doors that when they open, they lead to the lower level of the building. And in most cases, this is where they take deliveries and things like that, because they don't have a back door. They don't have a back way into the building. So they have these metal doors that go over the hole and the stairs and the whatever. There's multiple motherfucking places in New York City where you can trip and fall, and people do not trip and fall in New York City, even when they're drunk. If anybody was going to enact some sort of lunatic law over high heels, it would be Manhattan. And even they don't have this law. What the hell kind of street y'all got in Carmel by the Sea that y'all got to give permits for somebody to wear a 2-inch heel? And what makes you think them 2 inches make any difference? You can either walk in the damn high heels or you can't. Because I promise you, people are tripping over their feet in flip-flops. But I bet you ain't regulating flip-flops. Stupidity. Number 3 on the list. Unmarried women cannot cohabitate with the opposite sex in several states. In other words, if I'm a girl and you're a boy and we can't share an apartment, a house, a nothing. Like, we can't live together if we're not married. And this is true in Mississippi and West Virginia. It used to be true in Florida, but Florida must have had a moment of clarity and they got rid of that law. But in Mississippi and West Virginia, you cannot live together. Marital status discrimination in housing is still legal, is what it says. And it says in places that still have anti-cohabitation laws, It is illegal for unmarried individuals of the opposite sex to live together, meaning landlords, communities, or entire towns can refuse a couple or families' right to live there. It's just another example of an outdated, morally based law designed to maintain a woman's status as property. So, in other words, you can't discriminate against me if I'm a woman in housing. You can't discriminate against me if I'm handicapped. You can't discriminate against me if I'm elderly. You can't discriminate against me based on, excuse me, my religion. However, if I want to live with my boo and we ain't married, you can tell me, oh no, girl, we don't do that here. I want to know how many people have been arrested in Mississippi and West Virginia for cohabitation. I want to know. Right today, because I promise you, folks is cohabitating in Mississippi, and I want to know if you are catching these cohabitators. Then that means that folks are catching the people in Texas with their 6 dildos. I mean, I don't understand. How are you catching the cohabitators? Are you are you leaving it up to, say, utility companies or the landlord? Like, here's the thing. I know with a landlord, they're going to ask you who all the adults are in the house. And if I'm Casey Carter, move in with Billy Bob and we don't have the same last name, or do I have to prove we are or aren't married, or like, how do you do that? Like, how do you enforce that? People, wrap your mind around this. This is the country we live in. This is the great country we live in. And they want to tell me that if I ain't married to you, I can't live with you. They only believed in women leaving home only when they got married. Right. I know. Crazy. I mean, that genuinely is the thought, that a young woman stays at home in her father's house. Let's just get that straight. Not at home with her parents. In her father's house, a young woman lives until she moves into her husband's house. We're going to move on from that one. Number 4. Number 4 is one where I say this is like punishment for being a woman. It's just punishment, straight punishment. Number 4 is a woman can be fired for a period leak in Georgia. In other words, you know those times, girls, when we're having our period and out of nowhere you get that goosh and your immediate thought is, oh my God, did it come through my clothes? Oh my God, I got to get to the bathroom. Well, in the state of Georgia, you can get fired for that. And people have been fired because their period broke through their clothes. I don't even know what to fucking say about that. Like, I can't hold my job because my period was a little heavy in the moment. So therefore, and what exactly is it? Is Betty next to me offended that my period was heavier than normal and I couldn't get to the bathroom in time for that gush that happened and left a little stain there? I mean, what the hell? Seriously, what the hell? And here's the thing. So it says this, it says, after a woman in Fort Benning, Georgia was fired for a heavy period leak caused by premenopause, she attempted to sue her employer for sex-based discrimination. The court dismissed the case. According to the ruling, hold your panties, y'all. Premenopause symptoms and related issues like heavy periods are not protected by the by Title VII of the Civil Rights Act that forbids employers to discriminate based on sex. How is it not covered? If you can't fire me just for being a girl, then you can't fire me because as a girl, I have a period. What? People. Really? Really? I mean, because in essence, you're telling me I can't do my job because I got to run to the bathroom and handle this breakthrough, that handle the period that came through, or could quite possibly have to run home to change my clothes. I mean, is that really what the thought process is? Is that you're not going to get the maximum work out of me because I got to go handle this natural issue? How many of you out there have had your period bust through your outfit, whether at work, on a date, have out hanging with your friends? It's happened to all of us who have periods. All of us. Every last one of us who has a period has had this happen. Can you imagine being deathly afraid that you could get fired from your job? And I tell you what, you probably didn't even know. Hello, Georgia. Casey calling. I'm here with y'all too. Don't be on the job and let that period break through because you're going to get fired. I'm saying you're going to get fired. So you need to have you some extra tampons, some extra pads, some extra clothes. Get you that sweater, that ugly sweater. Leave it in the office in case something go down and you can hide that joint. Georgia, you're fucking ridiculous. Is all I'm saying. And yes, I am here with you, but you're ridiculous. Ridiculous. What if a man had a nosebleed? Okay, so grandfather law that needs to be taken off the books. Absolutely. And clearly, as you can see, they don't want to. Because there was another case in 2017 where a woman who was a 911 center call, a woman who worked at a 911 call center also got fired. But they gave her 2 shots at it because it says she was fired for 2 period leaks. What dude don't understand? Okay, I mean, it just don't make any sense. You know, and Lorenzo's comment, what if a man has a nosebleed? Probably nothing. He probably would get to go home. I'm just saying. He would probably get to go home. I need a minute. Just give me a minute. All right, I'm back. I needed a minute to settle down because that's some bullshit right there. You gonna punish me because I have to have a period? Fire me from my damn job over a period? And because it broke free? Anyway, we up to number 5. Number 5 on my list. Child marriage. Again, child marriage is legal with parental consent or in case of pregnancy. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, you're talking about like the 16 and 17-year-olds and stuff. See, here's the thing. In this article, they do sort of include the 16 to 18-year-olds who get married. But here's what I'm saying. Those aren't the children I'm referring to. I'm referring to the children of any age. Let me say it again for you. Children of any age. In other words, in California, with parental consent, no minimum age. However, the parents must meet the other parents and the court officials have to sign off. So let me say this again for you. In the state of California, a child of any age can be married with parental consent The parents have to meet the parents of the other person that they're marrying, and the courts have to sign off on it. Any age? Really? Any age. Yeah. As a matter of fact, New Mexico, children under the age of 16 can be married by order of a child's family or family division of district court. Under 16. So once again, we go back to the any age thing. The any age. Children of any age can be married if their mom or dad, parents, or the court say so. And that is, and some of these other ones where like you're 16, 17 or whatever, they're like, oh, well, if you come up pregnant, then yeah, we'll sign off on that. No. No. That we're not making a 16-year-old get married to someone just because they got pregnant. It's bad enough when adults do that dumbass shit. No. So, let me call out for you the places where children of any age can be married with parental consent. California, Massachusetts, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Again, children of any age can be married with parental in California, Massachusetts, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, West Virginia, and Wyoming. I don't even know how to wrap my mind around that. And you know what's so crazy about that particular law? You've got FOSTA, SESTA, where you are supposedly trying to minimize, human trafficking and trying to protect children. And so you are doing things that make it difficult for sex workers and all of the like. And yet it's legal. If my daughter was 12 years old, I could let her get married if I lived in one of those states. I could sign off on it. And yet, you're worried about SESTA FOSTA. You're worried about people of consenting age who sign documents and have to provide proof of identification. You're worried about what those people are doing, but you're not worried about the parents who can legally marry their underage children to whomever. Listen, you have no idea how this stuff just really gets under my skin. It drives me insane because we get upset about things like SESTA FOSTA, and I think we should, but we don't put into the picture all these other crazy things that in some cases contradict the thing. The thing on the right gets contradicted by the thing on the left. Or you want to fight this thing here. Well, look, there's a whole bunch of other stuff over here that you can put all together and make your fight work for you. We live in a crazy and fucked up country, people. Don't let them fool you. Make America great again. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm going to go to number 6. Number 6, y'all. Oh, Lord. Let me just say this. If I lived in the state of Michigan, I'd have to have bail money on a regular. So, number 6. In the state of Michigan, a woman has to consult with her husband before changing her hairstyle. Okay, let me say it again. In Minnesota, you can't do jack to your hair until you get permission from your husband. And I find it even interesting that it's specifically like your husband, because that then goes back to this idea of a woman being a possession, right? So the man in your life has to say, okay, baby, yeah, you can go on ahead and get that hairstyle. It probably took you 3 months hairstyle. And now you got to get his permission? And his dumbass goes to Supercut. But he's an authority on how you should do your hair. People, really? Really? Who out here lives in Michigan? Because I want you to know, if you out there changing your hair every month, however often you do it, and you ain't get permission, you out of order. Mm-hmm. Right, Lorenzo. If he says what, then what happens? I know. How crazy. Right? So like, hey boo, I'm gonna go in ahead and get that Casey thing. I'm gonna shave it on the sides, and I'm gonna do some stuff up top. I'm gonna make it blonde and all of that. How you feel? Nah, girl, you can't do that. Okay, well, I'm gonna do that. What happens? Can the husband now report the wife to law enforcement and have her arrested? Like, what happens? Who regulates that? Like, who says, okay, yes, that was illegal, or because she spoke to him, the consulting, even though he said no and she does it, is that okay because she spoke to him first? Like, is it the problem of she goes out and gets it done and doesn't tell him first? Or can she tell him, he say no, and she still go out and do it anyway? Like, what is it? On top of the fact that that's just bullshit. That's crazy. That's just insane that I got to get your permission to change my hair. Because I tell you what, I know a bunch of ladies who get to the hair salon and, you know, what they thought they was going to do turned out to be a whole new thing. It changes right on the dime while you sitting in the chair. I got, ooh, that girl, do that. Yeah, Michigan Hair Police. And let me tell you what's crazy. I know folk, or I used to know folk from Saginaw, Michigan. Ooh, they used to do some hair. Weave a diva. Ooh, they used to do some hair. So now, seeing this law, it makes me think, were they getting people in trouble by some of the stuff they may have been doing to hair? In Anyway, I'm just saying. That's stupid that I got to get permission to do something to my hair first before I do it. I got to get your nigga, please. Sorry. Excuse me. I ain't trying to offend nobody, but I'm just saying. And last but not least, it is illegal for women to bare their breasts in certain states. Now, originally, the article said in at least 10 states. Now, here's what's tricky. When I was researching this, it, depending upon whose website, it varied as to how many states this was illegal in. I had one site. Now, the article itself said in at least 10 states. And then when I started doing the research on the 10 states, that I found that some of the states, it was no longer illegal. So I'm like, okay, well, let me try to narrow down where it is still illegal. I couldn't get it right. So I started thinking, this reminds me of like marijuana laws. Like, for example, again, I'm here in Georgia. You can smoke in the city limits of Atlanta. And, you know, there's the whole amount that you can have on you and blah, 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 blah. But city limits of Atlanta. Well, here's the problem. There are people who live out as far as, say, the airport area who feel like they also live in Atlanta. They don't necessarily live in Atlanta, but they feel like they live in Atlanta. So you got to know where the city limits are so as not to get yourself in trouble. So, for example, I don't live in the city limits. I don't even live in the county where Atlanta is. And so what's applicable in Atlanta is not applicable here. So it's not a Georgia thing. It's an Atlanta thing. And it's an Atlanta city limits thing. So when I was investigating the whole being able to bare your breast in public in the state, what states it's allowable or not allowable, I couldn't get the numbers right. I couldn't get confirmation. Like, for example, one site said in Indiana and Tennessee, it is still illegal to bare your breast. And then it says 14 states and many cities in the U.S. have ambiguous laws related to it, and that the implications on how much of a woman's body is allowed to be shown in public. So in other words, when you're looking this up, they very specifically talk about, say, the breast, the nipple, the areola. Like, they talk about what parts of the breast are not allowed to be visible. The only thing I can say for sure, I can give you the 6 states that for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, in these 6 states, you can let your boobies all out, all day, every day. And those 6 states are Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Utah, which is comical to me, Mormon country, and Wyoming. In Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Utah, and Wyoming, your tits can be out, free as a bird, free to nipple, all up and through those 6 states. That is confirmed. Aside from that, I'm not 100% sure. Like I read in one article that in New York, you could bare your breasts. But I don't recommend you do that because I'm not 100% sure, right? Because I can't, it literally, when you search it, it varies. You can't, nobody is giving you like the same. Like, you can't go say to 2 or 3 sites and like, yep, they're all, those 3 are saying the same thing. No, they're not. I don't know. I really don't know, And it says it is explicitly illegal. See, this is another one of those contradictions. It is explicitly illegal for women to go topless in public in New Hampshire, Arizona, and Georgia. Can't be boobies out here in Georgia. Can't do it. Not allowed. It's illegal. In public. Unless, of course, you work in a strip joint. But like if you're out at the park, just cold chilling, and you want to catch some rays all over your body, you are technically, I'm going to say technically because I know y'all out there doing it. I've seen you on the Instagram. But technically, you can't take off your top and expose your breasts. Meanwhile, men, your nipples and areolas be out every day, all day. Don't nobody care that your nipples and areolas be all out. All out. So what is it? Is it because male nipples and areolas are not fetishized? They're not looked at as being sexual. Therefore, y'all can get away with it? I mean, what is it? Is it because y'all jealous that ours are typically bigger than yours? That ours, I mean, I know your nipples get erect, but let the breeze blow and we're all in. I mean, what is it? What is it? I don't know. But that's it, people. Those are the 7 sexist laws in the U.S. still on the books. And let me run through them again for you. Rapists have parental rights in several states. A woman needs a permit to wear high-heeled shoes in Carmel by the Sea in California. Number 3, unmarried women cannot cohabitate with the opposite sex. Number 4, a woman can be fired for a period leak in Georgia. Number 5, child marriage is legal with parental consent or in case of pregnancy. And again, when I'm saying child marriage, I don't mean the 16 and 17-year-olds. I mean the ones younger than that. In Michigan, a woman has to consult with her husband before changing her hairstyle. And finally, number 7, it is illegal for women to bare their breasts in certain states. So I would check the state you're in to see if your boobs can be out in the public. You know. Kashmir. Okay, listen. You live in Alabama, right? I think you live in Alabama. And I believe, yes, you live in Alabama. Um, are you aware of the Anti-Obscenity Enforcement Act of 1998 that criminalizes the sale of sex toys? Just wondering. Just wondering. Are you aware? It is illegal to sell sex toys in the state of Alabama. And where do you buy your sex toys from? How do you get them in? Because I know you got them. We've talked about it. So either share here, share on one of my social media posts. Yes. Oh, girl, you are aware. See, this is why I hang out with smart people, because they know shit. So I'm curious, how does one buy sex toys in Alabama? They call them novelty shops. Oh, okay. Okay. So I think it's the same here. We have we have novelty shops here. So basically, they have a law that they have created a loophole. Alabama and Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're in Mississippi. Okay. All right. Um, so does that mean is the law the same in Mississippi? Because I know, and I apologize. I thought you were Alabama. That was somebody else. But I know this is an Alabama law. So uh, passion parties. Okay. See, I need somebody from Alabama to tell me what they know. Tell me what you know. What's your Alabama experience, people? I'm very curious to know. Mm. And Duchess, we're going. I would love to talk about the experience of being highly sexual, whatever, in places like Mississippi and Alabama. I know what it's like here in Georgia, despite it's the same in Alabama. Okay, and despite the sexual laws, the obscenity laws, there's still a lot that goes on here. And I'm just curious as to what's the point in having the law when there's also the loopholes that get you out of the laws. But anyway, anyway, um, so in wrapping up, allow me to remind you that I have been nominated to ASN Lifestyle Magazine Awards, one for Best Lifestyle Adult Industry Erotic Writer and one for Best Lifestyle Adult Educator. And let's see, I'll be doing a workshop on pervertibles and I will be presenting an award. So basically, I'm going to find a way to squeeze my name into the title of this whole thing because Casey's all up and through this event. I'm just saying. I'm all up in here. It ought to be ASN Lifestyle Magazine and Casey award shows. Anyway, please, please, please vote, vote, vote. You can vote once every day. And I also want to shout out my girl, Kashmir, because she is also nominated a few times, just like I am. So support women. Because as you can see, we got all these sexist laws to contend with. We need your support. Please. I'm just saying. And today, I forgot to change this, so ignore that. Today at 10 o'clock on the Boob Tube on Exotica TV on YouTube and Periscope. Or did we get kicked off Periscope? I know we got kicked off YouTube for a minute. That's what it was. We got kicked off YouTube for a minute. But anyway, BoobTube, 10 o'clock. Me, Carrie Anthony, and Desiree Desirable Bottom. Today, we are talking about Tom Hanks movies and TV shows. So join us back here at 10 o'clock on Exotica TV, on YouTube, and Periscope. We are at the end of the show, y'all. End of the show. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Duchess, for sliding in here tonight. Always good to have you pop in, be on the show, and all of those things. To all of my very special audience members, Lorenzo, Jason, thank you for all your comments, all the support. And next week, I had something, and I forget what it was. I'll let you know by Sunday what we're talking about next week. We have to see how I'm feeling because there's a lot swirling around in my head. Get out there. Thanks, Lorenzo. I appreciate that. Listen, this is the Casey Carter stuff that I was doing before Periscope kicked me off, and it's this these are the topics that I find that I am super passionate about because there's all kinds of sex education out there. We've got a lot of sexperts and experts of all different types, whether it's BDSM, kink, whatever the case is. And the one thing that I found that we don't get enough of is just this level of knowledge, just being able to know things that maybe aren't specific to performing and function and things like that, but just how you live your everyday life, and it just, I'm always so fascinated by things like you can't have more than 6 dildos in Texas. Who's counting? Or the fact that the state of Alabama says you can't sell sex toys in the state of Alabama. Foolishness, right? Like, those things fascinate me because we live in this world where we're busy trying to explore and be free, and little do we know there are laws that say, no, you can't do that. So that's what I'm here for, people. I'm here to let you know all of the craziness to help you not just grow in your personal experiences, but to just give you knowledge and hopefully help you stay out of trouble. Well, all right then. All right. So I'll see you next week. Better yet, I'll see you at 10 o'clock. Good night.